I love the 70s. I love Afros. I love all of that. So it got to a point in my Place in the Sun career where I was wearing lots of straight weaves and curly ones as well and wavy ones. And my brother was like, you've got an opportunity and a platform here to actually show young girls that look like you that black hair is beautiful, whether it's a protective style, whether it's your Afro, whatever it is, rock that.
And all it really needs, from my perspective, is like a drip feeding of visibility slowly. Do you know what I mean? Creeping in, where it's like this program on ITV, then this program on Channel 4, and then maybe a BBC broadcaster, and we're seeing natural hair more, and we're thinking, okay.
A little break in my filming schedule, so I want to rest my hair, I want to tuck it away, I want to have a weave or a wig, but also I'm like, but I've now kind of set a precedence for me and who I am, which is I'm always in braids or faux locks, which is brilliant, but I'm losing my edges.
On today's episode of Texture Talks, I will be speaking with TV presenter and popular British broadcaster Scarlette Douglas. Yes. We discuss representation of natural hair in the media from when she was growing up versus now, and how important visibility of natural hair is for the community to see. This episode is brought to you by Fulham Scalp and Hair Clinic, an incredible black female mother and daughter-led trichology facility based here in London, who specialise in Afro and curly hair and have dedicated their lives to helping us finally find the solutions to our biggest hair care problems. I have had a consultation with them myself, and I have honestly learned so much about my hair from that one session. It doesn't matter what condition your hair is in, please just take a minute, go and invest in yourself. Go to their website at www.fulhamscalphairclinic.com and get an appointment booked so you can get your hair care journey back on track. Make sure you use my discount code TextureTalks5 to get 5% off your consultation fee. And do not forget to subscribe, please. I need as many eyes and ears on this as physically possible so we can impact the community in the most positive way. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, Scarlette.
Hello, you okay?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm good, and I'm glad that we got the memo.
I'm glad you were going to say it. I was going to say something. People are going to think this was planned. It was not planned.
It wasn't, we're just there.
We're just there mentally.
Exactly.
I love that for us. So I'm very excited about this conversation because, as my mother will know, when I was a little girl, and I say that I'm 30 and I still kind of low-key do, I want to be TV presenter.
Okay. It
was a big dream. And it's funny because when I think about the people that I saw, and the representation piece, it was a lot of pixie cuts and bobs.
Okay.
Pixie cuts and bobs, straight hair, of course. And it never really stopped me from wanting to be a presenter. But then the older I've gotten and the more I've realized it's like a real conversation piece, it's definitely something that I've thought I'm going to have to consider. Like if I wanted to step into that, I'd have to really think about it.
Yeah.
And I still haven't come to the conclusion about how I feel about it, if I'm honest, hence why this conversation is exciting for me.
Okay.
Because it might help me to come to some conclusions that I have not formulated on my own. So for you, when you were growing up, what was the hairstyle in your community? Let's start there. The people around you, family, friends, what was their perception when it came to natural hair?
So I was brought up in a very white area.
Okay.
In my school, it was myself, my friend Hannah, who was mixed race, and she was in my year. And then there was a girl 2 years above me who was black. She'd wear her hair in braids.
Yeah.
But then that was pretty much it in my area and in my school. And then in terms of family, cousins, they would always have their hair permed with the, you know, like, I'm only just now doing my edges, by the way. Trust me, there are many shows that will still air where I've got the nappy edges. And my mum's like, why can you not just brush up your peppercorn? I'm like, sorry, mum. I'm only just, and they still don't really sit as nice as I'd like them to. That slick with the curl, and like they spelt their whole name with the hair.
They got the postcode in the front.
Yeah, literally everything. So I remember my cousin, she used to always have that with her hair, and all her friends would have the same thing. But my mum never allowed me to perm my hair or press it or anything. So we just have it in plaits, in braids, maybe cane rows here and there. And that was pretty much it for my hair.
How did that reflect on TV?
So I didn't see that on TV.
No, I was going to say, do you see the braids?
Yeah, no, none of that. None of that. And I remember I would watch June Sarpong, Trisha.
Yeah.
And for me, it was more, wow, I'm seeing black women on television.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about their hairstyles until maybe 3, 4 years ago, when I really thought about the sort of hairstyles that I'm having when I'm on television.
Yeah.
And that was kind of off the back of something that my brother had said to me. So that's something we can get into later on.
Sure.
But I think when I was younger, it was more, I'm seeing a black woman that looks like me on television, and that's kind of what stuck with me.
To be fair, I think I was the same.
Yeah.
I think I just looked for faces that looked like mine. Even if it wasn't a woman, like I remember like watching Reggie. Reggie was on this program, was it? And there was a weird puppet with him.
Yeah. I can't remember
That
what it's called.
slapped. Whatever that was, I used to love that. And the weird thing, it couldn't talk. And and I was just happy to see Reggie, because Reggie kind of like, he looked like me, he looked like my brother and my cousins.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think about the hair piece, but I think it's just become such a conversation piece now, where I'm now thinking to myself, like, does that come into play? Talk to me about, and I'm trying to think of my key moments in my hair care journey, right? So I feel like 18, 19, I personally had moved into the wig game.
Yes.
That was my wig chapter.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your hair care journey, because I'm very intrigued to know like where we've been.
Okay, so so I'll go back to school days. So I remember I used to have my hair in just my normal twist as well. And people would call me Coolio. I remember that, which is quite funny. So when he passed away, some of my friends from school would be like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear, Coolio. It's bad, right? But it's because I'd twist it and then I'd get bored in school and I'd like tie 2 of the twists together so it kind of like stick out.
It's not their fault, really.
It's not their fault. I look like Coolio. And I remember it being quite funny. I never really took offence to it or anything. And it wasn't until I went to college, Performing Arts College, again, predominantly white, where my hair wasn't doing what all the other girls are doing when they're flicking their hair in their commercial dance class, and I'm like, nothing's swooshing.
There's nothing. Open a window.
Yeah, what's
Help
happening?
me.
Which is when I then thought, okay, I'm going to get a weave, and my aunt was a hairdresser, so she put in my first weave for me, and I never forget it. It was like a dark brown on top, and then like a blonde underneath.
Oh my God!
So you couldn't see the blonde until I swished,
and you were like,
there
yes.
it was. And I actually remember giving me this kind of new persona.
Yeah.
I'd be in college and I'd be doing the dance routines. I felt sexy because my hair's all over the place. Felt like I was doing Britney routine or something.
Yeah.
And that was kind of when my weave journey started.
Yes.
And then I had all the different colour weaves, like purple and red and all the colours you can imagine. And then my mum and I were watching a documentary, late teens probably.
Okay.
An American documentary of a lady that just has all these different wigs.
Yeah.
And me and her were like, what do you mean wigs? She's wearing wigs. But we would see how good these wigs were. And wigs in America as well are like unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I remember saying to her, I'm going to get a wig.
Why not?
I'm going to get a wig. Why not get a wig?
Yeah.
And because at this point as well, I got into musical theatre.
Yeah.
When you're doing your shows, you're wearing wigs anyway. So I knew how to wear wigs.
Yeah.
I understood you put your hair in your pin curls. We have like the bandage that we'd put around our head first, and then we'll do it in blah, blah, blah. So then I just thought, in between shows, when I've got my skull cap, as we would call it, so your hair's pinned down, then you've got all your wig caps over it, rather than going out and just always putting a cap on, I'll just stick my wig on and go out. So wigs really started to become a thing. It was easy. If my hair was looking terrible, it's fine.
It's
so I'll
fine.
stick my
I've
wig
got
on.
the wig.
Exactly, it's no problem. But I was starting to notice that it was kind of cutting into the edges.
Yeah.
The lace was not the soft lace back then either. It was like
it
plastic,
wasn't. You can see
razor.
the lace. You come in the room and you're like,
oh, okay. Not very natural.
Okay, noted.
Yeah. So it wasn't the best idea, but it was, I guess, quicker, easier.
Yeah.
And I'm not good with my own natural hair. I really don't know what I'm doing, which is why
Same.
when I saw Texture Talks pop up and you pop up on my Instagram, I was like, oh, I can actually learn something about my hair at the tender age of 36.
It's okay, don't worry, we're in it together.
It definitely got to a point where then it got into television, and obviously all I'd known were wigs, so I was wearing lots of wigs, and some of them I look back on my early episodes of A Place in the Sun, and I'm like, wow. Someone could have told me how bad it looked. A catter, as my mum would say. Put it in your head when like you would balance the water,
oh
whatever,
God, I know
just stick
exactly
up.
what you mean, shade.
Yeah, I had some bad hairstyles.
I mean,
but you have to go through the bad to get to the good, right? To learn.
you wouldn't know the difference. Like, I joke about this, but there's a number of times where I look back and I'm like, did no one care for me? Because
were you actually my friends?
No, but mum, come on, mum, you cuss me out daily for silly things.
Yeah.
But you let me leave, and you saw just flapping in the wind, and you look lovely, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like, but we're all learning. The funny thing is, I realised that my mum actually didn't do the wig thing at all, so she wouldn't know.
Okay.
So wigs wasn't her thing. She was, and I did an episode with her about this. It was the curly perm. Relaxer, they were scared of the relaxers.
I nearly went for a curly perm.
I've done that before, and I can't lie, it wasn't that bad. I wore it dry.
Right.
So the grease I couldn't do. I threw out like 4 shirts and was like, no. Like the corners, no.
Yeah, that's what my answer. There's a lot of grease.
It's disgusting. But I did it dry and it was fine. But the problem is that it still caused a lot of perimeter breakage. My issue is growing this.
Yes. Okay.
The perimeter struggles with it. So she did that. She did the press and comb. So she never really did the wig thing. I feel like she said the wig thing was like us. Like we
Okay.
kind of like with the lace front thing. And I feel like I agree. That was an us generation thing. But then the issue that I had with the wigs, tell me if you had this. There was a point where I was trying to work out who I was wearing them for. At the beginning, it was fun. And I loved it. As you did, pink, blue, red, blonde, everything. It was fabulous because I was like, this ain't my hair. I can do whatever I want. And then it started to become stressful because the glue was taking my edges, the combs were taking the back of my hair, and I'd sometimes have bald spots, and I'd be like, because the comb was, and I was like, oh shit. And then the whole lace thing, because then as the lace got better, it was more expensive.
Yeah.
So then it's the cost thing, and I'm thinking like the cost to not just buy it, but then buy it with like double drawn cuticle virgin hair, then to get it 300% density so it looked really thick, then to get the baby hairs plucked and laid, and then the service, and I was like, this is thousands of pounds.
Lots of money.
It's a lot of money. At this point, I'm thinking to myself, I'm at uni, I don't have these peas. And then I'm working in corporate, and there was a switch where I thought if I wasn't in this environment where I felt I had to, I think I would maybe not do it.
Okay.
But I'd almost like set the standard in the workplace that this is what Paige looks like.
Right.
So then I was thinking, if I turn out with an afro tomorrow, it's too much. It's too much. I can't. I won't be left alone.
Right.
Like I can't have lunch. I can't have my sandwich at break because it will just be too much of a. So I felt like, oh no, I'm gonna have to. I've done this now. I've set that standard for everybody else, and now I have to keep it. So for you, was there a point where you felt like, I don't really want to wear the wig, but I have to?
Yes and no. The times when I thought I don't really want to wear a wig, but I have to, would be the times I just didn't have time to actually get my hair done. So it's like, I would much rather have had my hair done nicely, but I've got to stick a wig on because otherwise people do not want to see this. Like, so I'm better off wearing the wig because people don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But I'm more that person. Like, I love the 70s. I love afros. I love all of that. So it got to a point in my Place in the Sun career where I was wearing lots of straight weaves and curly ones as well and wavy ones. And my brother was like, you've got an opportunity and a platform here to actually show young girls that look like you that black hair is beautiful, whether it's a protective style, whether it's your afro, whatever it is, rock that. So that for me kind of gave me the okay, I guess. Not that I need an okay from anybody.
No, but like strong statement from Broski. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what, you're right. And actually, let's do it. It's Channel 4 daytime. I'm on a Place in the Sun. They're probably annoying me at some point. And I was like, I'm going for it. I'm going, like, go big or go home.
Yeah.
So I started off, I'd have like single braids. I remember doing the Caribbean, I used to have my hair in single braids. That was fine. And then I went on to literally afros. Just like big afros. I think I must have done at least 6 or 7 episodes with a full fro.
That's incredible.
With like braids up and then a big fro.
Oh, I see what you mean with the like, you do the bam and then.
Yeah, and then. So I have either like the full pool or the K-Rose in the pool, and then I had the bits down with the beads, and like I was going in. I was wearing my 70s gear.
Yeah, and you were like, okay.
I was like, yeah. I think maybe the one thing I didn't do was wear a dashiki, but I was fully.
We were en route to that.
Right, I was there. I wanted the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And I thought, I dare them to say something to me about my hair.
I dare you to say a word.
And they never did.
No.
They never did. They definitely picked me up on my outfit options because some of my clothing options were very wild. There was one I remember in Aruba. I had like these purple wedges and bright pink socks that I pulled all the way up to like just to the bottom of my car.
Like that sounds fabulous.
Like, I loved it. Even now, I watch it, I'm like, I love it.
I'm sorry, I like that.
I like it. Not everybody loved it, but hey ho.
It's okay.
It is what it is.
But the
I haven't
hair
been cancelled yet. But the hair, they never said anything. And I genuinely thought they would have said, "Oh, can you maybe tone it down a little bit?" Because we are so conditioned and so used to having straight hair or wavy hair or something that is appropriate for the workplace. So I pushed that boundary, and it was great. And
everything seemed fine. I mean, that makes me feel good because it just means that I think there are certain spaces where people would get pulled up. But it's nice to know that we're moving in a direction where it's happening less, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to sound juvenile, and there's people out there like, it's so happening. But the fact of the matter is that someone could have said something and they didn't.
Yeah.
And all it really needs, from my perspective, is like a drip feeding of visibility slowly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Creeping in, where it's like this program on ITV, then this program on Channel 4, and then maybe a BBC broadcaster, and we're seeing natural hair more, and we're thinking, okay, because it matters.
It does matter.
People want to say, wear your hair however you want to wear your hair. Don't look at other people. Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry, that's not the way that we work as humans. We look at trends.
Of course we do.
We want to be like on trend. We want to be rocking the same style that other people are like wearing and getting positive compliments about. So if I'm there with my wig, let's say, and I'm feeling very conscious about it, and also for the wider piece of people outside the community seeing it and thinking, oh, I saw Scarlette Douglas. She had like her braids or an afro. And them then being like, oh, it's actually a fabulous look. Then it means I feel a bit more comfortable because they've seen it and they love it. So I'm like, okay, now you've been eased in.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to come into work with that too. And you've seen that before.
Yeah.
This isn't new for you anymore. So that's important. But I feel like if it was me, that would cause me to have a lot of pressure and maybe anxiety attacks.
Really?
Because I would always then feel like every decision is a decision for us. Do you ever get to a point where you sit and you feel as if how you now style yourself is a message or it means something? Because that must weigh on you a little bit.
Yeah, it does, because now I want to give my hair a proper break.
Yeah.
And because for the last 3 years, I've been filming shows back to back.
Yeah.
And there was 3 shows I was filming. I had 3 different hairstyles, and between them all, I had to have continuity. So I had to somehow work out how I could have locks one day, but then braids the other. And then I'd manage to like pull my braids back, hook the locks in, the faux locks. It like, if you see some of the shows and you look back and I point it out to you, you'd be like, oh, you actually had 3 hairstyles in one. Like, it was so stressful.
See it.
And I'm at a point now where I've got a little break in my filming schedule. So I want to rest my hair. I want to tuck it away. I want to have a weave or a wig, but also I'm like, but I've now kind of set a precedence for me and who I am, which is I'm always in braids or faux locks, which is brilliant, but I'm losing my edges. So I obviously respect that people come up to me and say, oh, you know, I love that you have your hair natural. I love it.
Yeah.
But as black women, we do change our hair all the time and we mix it out, whether it's color, whether it's straight, whether it's curly, whatever it is. I would like to be able to change my hair and then not be judged for it. I'm not saying that I'm going to be, but it is a worry and it is something on the back of my head that, oh, well, she's just now gone.
She's gone back.
Yeah. And it definitely won't be that. It's just, also, I quite like my hair in different ways. And I like a nice wavy hair one day. And I like it to be short and pixie lock one day. And I like to have big curls one day. Why can't I do that? But I guess if I'm being a role model, I have to be very careful of how I do it and how long my hair stays in a particular style for and what that message might be that I'm putting out.
That's hard, actually. When I think about it, it's difficult because it is genuinely a case of like, yes, I'm a role model for you, but I'm also like living my life for myself.
Yeah.
So I might genuinely just be like, I'm in the mood for a little bob now, a little wig bob, you know, I want a little ombre. And then you think to yourself, Lord Jesus, what's this going to do now? Yeah. Who's going to get upset on Instagram?
Yeah, exactly. Is my brother going to say to me, you should have kept your hair in your braids?
Yeah.
And I did have, a few months ago, I had a short red bob and I loved it. I loved it. It had like, it was a weave with some of my my own hair out, leave out. And then at some point I took out the weave and then I had some extra bits of weave. So I just put a little bit in and then I took it all out. It's all my hair. And then my hair from washing it ended up being like a kind of golden brown. The red had gone. I was like, I'm loving it.
I love this.
I'm loving it. But my hair was like, nah, girl. Stop. Stop with all of the dye and the pressing and just leave your hair alone.
Yeah.
So it's in a bit of a state.
The other issue, because one thing I'm learning from my journey with this trichologist, right, with Fulham Scalp and Hair, is I am now in a position where I'm safe, but I could have gone too far with the styles where it could have been irreparable damage.
Right.
So I have a legitimate diagnosis, and this shook me to my very core, of traction alopecia.
Have you?
You wouldn't think.
Where? Around your edges?
Yeah. You wouldn't
But your
think.
edges are looking good.
No, and this is why I've sponsored with them.
Right.
Because I went in with Jess like, oh, I'll be fine. I'm absolutely fine. My hair's fine. It's thick. It's this and that. And she was showing me where the patches are a little bit wider than they should be. And I was like, I wonder how many other people have traction alopecia. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And she said, if you keep going and you keep going and you swap this style for this style and this style for this style, a lot of times, because I had the faux locks, I had the braids, I had all of it, she said it's the swapping without breaks in between.
Yeah, and I've never had a break.
I never had a break until this last year. honestly, it scared the shit out of me because for me and for the community, because she said, you're good because you've come now. If you'd have done this maybe a few more months,
No,
scary, isn't it?
This is what I'm worried about, 'cause I already know. I do think I've got traction alopecia. I did go to a trichologist after listening to your podcast and watching your online pieces and clips.
Yes.
And she was like, you do have hair there. Your hair follicles are still alive.
Yeah.
You just need to stop putting the braids in and stop doing this. And I'm like, that's easy to say in theory.
Yes.
But television, I can't go on TV with my hair however it is that you expect me to have my hair. I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable enough to be able to do that with my hair. Maybe I could, I don't know. But I have to at some point put in braids, or I have to do, because I'm constantly on camera.
Agreed. And this is finding the intersection between hair health and style in terms of what you like and style for your profession is very difficult.
Yeah.
The things I'm learning with these people are very hard to digest. And then I'm there trying to put it out on socials and I'm scared.
Yeah.
Because I'm like people are going to be like, what are you talking about? But what I am realizing is that if you don't, and this is absolutely no shade to the older generation. However, if you don't, there's a lot more people that are maybe my mum's age where I can see what happens.
Yeah.
For example, I've got people in my family or people that I've met that are mum's generation, and you know when the space between the braids, the space between the locks, the perimeter of the hair has been like the same length from this Christmas to the last Christmas. And this is truly, honestly, the impact. And that's where I'm now starting to think, is it worth me looking cute, fire as hell now? And then I get to maybe 50 plus, and that is the case, because in my head, that's 50 odd still young. I've got life to live. I've got selfies to take.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to have to be hiding because I didn't do right by my hair now.
And working out the correct angles that it doesn't look like you're
Do you know how many times I've seen people where I'm like, there's no angle for you. The damage is done.
When I see black girls as well, I'm like, just checking the edges. I'm like, your edges are on fire. Like, you've got great edges. And then I see some, I'm like, ooh, you maybe left it a bit too late.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I sit with that. Like, where am I? Am I too late? Am I not too late? So I need to sort it out.
Yeah,
Honestly.
well, 100% get you in with
Thank
them,
you.
first
I
of
need
all.
to.
But then I also feel like I want to talk about, and this is an interesting one, but when you're in certain circles, right? So with other professionals, has it ever been a conversation piece? Or is it really normalized now? Because sometimes I think we can dramatize things because of how bad they used to be. And when there's progression, it's really hard unless you're in those rooms to know, actually, guys, no, it's not that bad anymore. But are there any difficult conversations or uncomfortable situations from peers?
So there's a girl that presents a show I know, and I remember speaking to her about her, and she's always like, you know, she's been presenting for years, she's done children's presenting, and she's only ever done the European hairstyle because she feels as though that makes her fit in and she's more accepted. I remember having a whole discussion with her, I'm like, I get that, but if you've had all that experience and people know who you are, and also you're at a position now where everyone in the world is loving natural hair, just like take the leap, go for it, why not? And she has had her hair in braids a lot more on the show, and she's kind of gone from weave to braid to whatever, and she's loving it. She's like, oh my God, I love that I can just do this with my hair. I'm like, amazing. And there's another girl on the show, she will go from braids to long to curly to press, loving it. And I love that they feel more confident that they can do that now. And I love, like the other day I was doing some bits for ITV competitions, and my hair is in Bantu knots. So many people are like, oh my God, I love your hair's in Bantu knots. I'm like, thanks. It's just because my actual hair down in the braids was a little bit rubbish. So I thought, you know what? I've not had Bantu knots in ages. I'm going to do it. And why not? And I didn't feel any type of way, which I loved. And when I do go and do Good Morning Britain or Lorraine, whatever, you've got a whole team there in terms of like makeup and hair. And they are brilliant. And they will admit if they don't know anything about black hair. And there's one particular lady there, she'll know about like how to lay the edges, blah, blah, blah. And they've actually had people in to train them.
Really?
Yeah, they've had people in to train them. And the last time I was in, there was a lady, and she's like, I'm going to be honest with you. We had a day, which isn't long enough to learn everything you need to know about Afro hair. But they gave us some hair products. They gave us certain like combs, wide tooth combs, all this sort of stuff. So I'm like, first of all, that's amazing. But no one's really going to come in with their hair just Afro, has no style, where you're going to have to use those products to style it, to comb it, to do whatever. That's not really, we're probably going to come in with our hair already done because we know that we're going to have our hair already done. But yeah, there was one lady that said they taught them how to braid hair, but she couldn't really remember. Because obviously if you're not practicing constantly, you don't know how to do it.
It's not easy.
So I took out one of my braids and I undid it. I was like, right, I'm going to show you. And I had everyone around me, like whilst I'm braiding my hair, said, right, this is how you do it. So you get the middle piece. I've never done the feed-in, you know.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do knotless braids. But I was showing how to do the knotted one, blah, blah, blah.
And everyone's just like in awe.
And then they're practicing and they're doing it. And they're like, thank you so much. Because I think they feel nervous to ask certain people. But because I'm that person, I'm very open. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, let's talk about it. The only way you're going to learn is if you ask the questions and if you actually practice. Let's do it. You don't like that? I can see your face, you're like, I'm not sure.
I like it because I think you're such a sweet, lovely lady. But you're the talent. I don't know that you should have to do that.
I hear it.
I feel like you should turn up and just do your job.
And do my job. I hear it.
And it's like, education is required, but before you arrive, the education should have been done. Like the one day maybe should have been a week course.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know the hair on set doc? Watching that and realising that in the same way that if I went to my job in an office, mentally you only have a certain amount of energy to give to that role that day. And there was actually a book I read and it said that even just down to choosing your outfit, it's like 100 different mini decisions. And you've maybe got 500 to just before you reach nil point for the day. I'm stopping it. Yes, I'm stopping it. You knew I was going to. The growth in black hair care has been significantly affected by social media. I think that's fair to say. Bloggers and influencers have created a space where black hair can be discussed and celebrated, which is fabulous. But with that rise in influencer content comes a dangerous rise in DIY hair treatments. Trust me, I'm included in that. And that can lead to further damage of both our scalp and hair. Have you noticed an increase in thinning, shedding, or breakage? Have you, like me, been playing around with that bleach and those dyes? Maybe your hair is now very dry as a result. Or just want to work out how you can get the density of your curls and your afro thicker. If you could get some peace of mind and learn exactly what was happening with your scalp and hair, I feel like that has to be of value. Since 2011, Fulham Scalp and Hair Clinic have provided the Afro and curly head community with the kind of honest and direct support that we need to give us a clear understanding of the state of our hair and scalp and the steps that we more importantly need to be able to achieve real progress. Go to www.fulhamscalphairclinic.com. Use my discount code TextureTalks5 and get 5% off your consultation fee. Get some support. You don't have to struggle alone. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button. Only if you're enjoying the show, please. It takes a second to you, but it means absolutely everything to me. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, I'll let you get back to Scarlette now. It's a good episode. Enjoy. So imagine on that day, you've already chosen your outfit, you look fly, you've arrived, you're tired,
my alarm went up at 3:30 in the morning, get picked up at 4 a.m. Yeah.
Okay.
So already stressed out.
So you're already stressed. There's already, say you've got 500 decisions to take from, you're down to 250, right? And then you have to choose another 100 to be in the middle of a large group of people. And you haven't started work. You have the camera's not on. You've got 50 left.
I've not even got my earpiece.
You haven't got the earpiece on. You're not mates. You've got 50 bloody decisions left. And that's why I'm like, no, what? Scarlette, no.
You know what? I genuinely didn't mind it. Maybe if I was at the start of my career, it would be different. But I think I've been doing this for 8 years now. If I can help someone help the next person, I'm absolutely going to do that. So I love that she asked. I love that I could show her, and I love that she practiced. She probably doesn't remember how to do it now because she's not got anybody else to do it with. But at least like she might feel more confident to try to doing someone's hair next time.
I think so. So another question I have. What is it, word it right, what is it like being on set in different environments in broadcast when it comes to people understanding either makeup or hair? On the whole, would you say on the whole it's like positive? Like most of the time you get what you want?
I honestly thought it was getting better.
What do you mean?
Especially makeup. I thought we're getting better.
Yes. No.
There are so many different brands now. We've got Fenty Beauty bringing out all, those amazing
2 million
colours,
shades,
right?
yes.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
I did a show the other day.
Okay.
And I was sat in the chair, and I actually brought in a friend's daughter to do like just shadow because she wants to be a makeup
Lord.
artist.
Yeah,
so she came with
okay.
shadow. And I'm sat there getting my makeup done, and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm thinking,
Oh no.
I know she's going to blend it. She's not going to leave it like this.
I know she's not.
Because she can see the colour of my neck.
There's
she can
no
see
way.
the colour of my face.
She sees.
There's no correlation.
It's fine. Don't
She's gonna-
panic. Trust the process.
Cool, you're all done. Anything else? I said, okay, thank you. And I went to our dressing room and I brought my friend. And I always, and I haven't been doing it that much lately, but I always pack my makeup bag.
Always.
Thank the Lord I packed my makeup bag this time. I got the tissues from the box, took it off, did my makeup again. And it's frustrating because I can see all the colours that you have there.
I see them.
And I don't know if the lighting was wrong in the studio. I don't know what it was, but it was just really bad. And it's like, I don't want to have to bring my makeup bag to redo my makeup.
No.
I don't want to have to do all these extra things because I've already made 500 decisions.
Thank you.
To get to this point that I just want to focus on the show that
Because
I'm doing.
then you'll be stressed and het up when you then walk out there. What's wrong with Scarlette?
Right, correct.
Just done a full face.
The makeup thing is still, we're getting better.
Okay.
We're definitely getting better.
Definitely, okay.
100%
Just
better.
not quite there.
I used to do a lot of films and that again, I'd be like, I'd just turn up with my makeup done because I just couldn't
Please
bother.
don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got it. I've got a load of other girls to do. I'll worry about my own. So makeup definitely getting better.
Yeah.
Hair, when you're going in to do a show anyway, it's normally just, they might brush your hair up. We pretty much predominantly will come in with our hair done. Whether
Done
that's
already.
black, white, Indian, whatever.
Right, okay.
You come in, your hair's pretty much done, unless
Okay.
you want a specific style or unless, Alison Hammond, for example, she's got her hairdresser that travels around with her, Michelle, who's amazing.
I would probably have to do that.
Yeah, so when you get to a certain point in your
Yeah.
career, you have your makeup artist, you have your hairdresser. That's it.
Yeah.
Michelle Sultan, who's amazing, she did the photo shoot for me for the Fabulous magazine.
Yeah.
I'm on the front
Oh, I love
of. Love her. I'm seeing her tomorrow.
Good.
And she's brilliant, and I want her in my team because she gets
good shoot.
all the different types of hairstyles and thicknesses and
She gets it.
The 4 C's, the 3 C's, the
Yeah.
2 A's, whatever. She gets the texture, she gets all of it. So I want to work with her
Yeah.
because she understands hair as it is anyway, but also hair for broadcast. So
Yeah.
I can trust her with that. But if you're just going in quickly to do like a Good Morning Britain entertainment hit, you're pretty much going in with your hair already done.
You're fine, so you don't really have to
So-
worry about it that much.
Yeah. But there is change happening and there are some amazing hairdressers in television, or hairstylists, I should say, in television that are working and doing brilliantly. Like Michelle does Alison, she also does Vic Hope as well.
Oh, yeah?
I can't remember the lady's name that does AJ's hair, but her hair's always mixed up. Do you know what? AJ's natural afro is unbelievable. And I saw her once. I'm like, babe, why are you not rocking your
What
hair
is
like
this?
that?
Show me this.
It's so good. Like her edges are perfect.
Oh.
She's got all the thickness.
Oh, I want to see.
It's just gorgeous. She's like, yeah, but obviously protective styles as well. And I get it. And I know she did the big blowout. We saw all these different hairstyles.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And on Big Brother, she's changing her hair. She's mixing it up. And I love that she mixed it up.
Yeah.
When I saw her on the bridge, she had really nice, like long twist braids.
Yeah.
With the different colour ribbons wrapped around and everything. And it's like, yes. And
Yes.
that's the beauty of black hair, is that we can mix it up and we can be so much more brave to do that on television now.
I think I think for TV, and especially in England, I don't know why I have this feeling. Well, I probably do. But in British TV as opposed to American TV, I still feel that there's a very British way that we have to adhere to.
Yeah.
Whether it's linguistics, whether it's how we dress, it's just a British way, and I do understand because we're in Britain. All right, fair play. But it also makes it a little bit tricky sometimes when you look overseas and then you see like some of the elaborate styles and the colours and the afros and and you see the US and you're like, looks great over there. But the fact that it is bleeding here and the fact that you are a part of that change, it makes me happy because it does relieve you of stress, because you just think to yourself like, I really want to do a good job. Like that's the key thing, especially for people like me. I'm doing my little graft, on my way up, trucking up. And I'm thinking, when I get there, I really just want to do a really good job.
Yeah.
And everyone will be like, oh, it's a fantastic segment, like, well done. So I don't actually really want to have that stress, because you know the way you stress in the morning when your hair's not going right? Mm-hmm. That's the feeling that I would have if I'd had someone do my hair incorrectly and I had to scurry off like, thank you so much, it looks fab, and then have to go in the toilet. If I had to do that before I start, I know I'd get something wrong. I know I'd get lines wrong. I know I'd probably be like, sorry, can we do it again? Can we do it again? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, oh, she's really unprofessional. Oh, she's not prepared. No, I am prepared.
It's just someone else wasn't prepared. Yeah.
Exactly, which is why it's so important, and why I feel like even though it's getting better, just in those environments where maybe there's the odd broadcaster, the odd producer, maybe, I don't know, the odd runner that thinks, oh, it's not that serious. Maybe they can watch this and be like, oh, actually, it's quite serious. Yeah. For anybody coming up, like the up-and-comers, it's more of a conversation than it was ever, I think. If they're worried, and I think that's a fair thing to be, and they want to be broadcaster, TV presenter on British TV, doing the damn thing, doing the Scarlette thing. Do you have advice for them? For us?
Do you know what? As cheesy as it sounds, you've absolutely just got to be you. Because people are tapping into personalities so much more now because of social media, because on your own platform, people are coming to you for your personality, and yes, for your expertise and what it is that you have, but it's your personality. If we talk about you directly, I love how you are. I love your quirks. I love that you're fun, your energy. I love watching that. I come to you specifically, and that's what's going to get you on television. Yeah. There are presenters out there that can absolutely read an auto cue, read a script, can listen to talk back, can answer questions. If there's no personality with it, it doesn't make any sense. And our dress sense, our hairstyle is an extension of our personality. Yeah. And I remember when I first ever did my screen test for A Place in the Sun, I actually had my hair in braids. I had it up in a big bun, had this bright blue, tight catsuit, long jumpsuit catsuit thing on, with these biggish heels, huge earrings. I'm like, this is me. This is my personality. This is what you're going to get on your show. Yeah. You're clearly looking for someone different because you've already got certain roster of presenters that are doing what they do well, but you want something that's different and fresh and energetic. So this is my version of that. This is it. And if someone doesn't like it, then that's their business. But you always have to be true to you. And if your hair, being in a big afro, is you and it makes you feel brilliant, it makes you feel authentic, it makes you feel excitable, then do that with your hair. If you want to have your hair straight, do it. But don't do it for other people, because you'll get found out, you won't be happy, and you won't last long in this industry because it is very difficult. It takes its toll, it is stressful, it's draining. It always looks fun because I'm traveling around the world. I'm going to sunnier climes. I'm like, look at this gorgeous house.
Beautiful location,
amazing, right? But that's because also I'm very much staying my humble self within it. The minute you get sucked into the world of showbiz is the minute it just becomes too stressful.
That's fantastic advice. And the thing is, truth time, I have really bad anxiety. Okay. Really bad anxiety. And I have anxiety because I'm an overthinker, that's all it is. Mm-hmm. So I'll say something and then like 2 hours, 2 days, 2 months later, I'll be like, why did I say that? Like, it's just a weird thing I have. So in my mind, I feel like being in that space, if I have this to worry about, it's going to take me out of the game. Right. Because I'm overthinking. If I'm not comfortable, say I'm wearing a wig because I feel like I should, and I don't want that wig on, then I'm going to be like, is my wig lifting? Is it lifting? Does it look good? Are they like the amount of times where I will look at someone's face, and this is why I used to hate wigs, and I'll look and they'll look up and I'm like, oh my God. Oh yeah, they can see it. yeah. I've been there. In fact, not that long ago, I bought a wig and it had the afro and it had the cane rays on the top. And on the website, it looked amazing. I was like, yes, bring it, let's do it. It was the worst wig I think I've ever bought, ever. I've had a lot of wigs in my time. That's a big statement. And I'm still trying to do the authentic thing, you know, I'm still trying to natural hairstyle. Sure. But at this point, I was up mega early to film the next day. I think I must have just got back from filming the day before. I had a one free day. Took my hair out, washed it, cane rayed it, put my wig cap on. Okay. I put it on the night before and I was like, this is awful. But I have no other options. This is it. Right? I have no other options. I have no alternative. So I wore it and and I'm like doing my pieces and I'm like talking to everybody and I'm doing stuff about clothes and everything great, yeah, amazing. But all I can think of is, I know for a fact when this goes out, it's going to look terrible. To the point that someone actually commented on a post,
what, like, she looks like an alien. What is on her head? And I was like, oh my God. Now, to be fair, when I watched it, it was nowhere near as bad. So
Never
if
is.
anyone was watching and they didn't know the story,
Yeah.
you would probably just think it's my hair.
Sure.
But I could see the line. I could see that the lace wasn't the same colour as my actual scalp.
No.
I could see it.
No.
And I'm like, this is awful. It was at that point I thought, I can't
You
do
can't live
this
this
again. I can't
life.
do this again.
Life is hard enough.
Yeah.
Without me stood looking down the lens of a camera like.
Thinking, what are people say about my hair?
Right,
What is
exactly.
happening right now
And
with my hair?
and the thing is, you know, if you have a style and it's like, I don't know, a little bit out there by other people's standards, most of the time, the styles that we think are very normal are out there to other people, not to us. If you are like, you fully back that style, I don't care what you say.
Exactly.
I don't care. I know I look great.
Yeah.
So it is then just a case of like difference of opinion. But when it's just like logistically the wig ain't slapping.
When it's just terrible. And everybody can see it and you know it. It's
You know. Like you know deep down what that would do. So
what?
you're thinking to yourself like, why have I chose this life?
Yeah. Why did I choose the wig life? No, today the wig life chose me and it was not
Right,
a good
and the
choice.
wig won. The wig
Yeah.
won that battle. So you just can't focus on the job. So
You
I
can't.
get it, and it's like you pick and choose, and you have whatever makes you feel comfortable. But I think there's a level of practicality now as well in my life where I choose something that will make sense with my lifestyle. Because gone are the days where I could just like swan around the house and just straighten my weave for 3 hours, I don't know, or like get the curling wand and the glove and just one of these. Because I ain't got time. I don't have the time for it. So the fact that you're able, and I feel like you do it so well, to just between styles.
I'm glad you think I do it well.
I think you did it fabulously because I'm going to go home and I'm going to look and I'm going to try and find where you were doing 3 styles because I'm so intrigued. Because I
Honestly.
didn't pick it up. And I think that's the whole point of it. The only thing now, which hopefully the trichologist can help with, is being able to help you manage the health of it.
Yes.
Because that is the thing. How do I do that shape shift? Look fabulous, but no, I'm not hurting my hair. And I don't think that's something, I haven't been taught that.
No.
My mum, when I booked a consultation, she booked one after. So love her, and she's taught me all she can, but she's learning with me right
Learning
now.
as well, there you go. I did cut my hair off once, short like yours.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and I want to do it again.
Yeah.
But the trichologist I went to is like, you can absolutely do it, and a hairdresser I spoke to said you can do it, but because your edges are still quite fine, it's not going to look brilliant.
Yeah.
So you need to try and grow your edges back a bit more first.
Yeah.
Then you can do the cut. So I do want to cut it off short, but then when I cut it off, I'm like, but then I want to dye it, and I'm going to want to do like something fancy with it, and then that's just going to ruin my hair again. This is the issue.
This is the place that I'm in at the moment. I'm basically you, Scarlette.
Right.
Right? No, I'm you. I have done every single style. I love it so much, but we had this really hard conversation, me and Eleanor, and she is no nonsense. Please go in with real confidence that like you will get probably a little upset.
Okay, I'm ready.
I hit it well. There was a couple of points where I was like,
Oh,
okay.
that was hard.
And rude. And there was a point where she said, can you say to me that you really want to do this journey properly? And if you do, does that mean that you're open to no colour? And I'm like, see? Oh my God.
I've got a lot of greys, you know. A
But
lot.
they have something for that. My mum does, and they have this this wax pencil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they've got options.
Okay.
So that was the first thing. Then she said, have you ever just had, and this was like a real shocker for me, just an afro, just a healthy brown virgin afro. I was like,
Like, sorry, what is that?
who are you talking to? Are you crazy? No.
No,
Never. I was like, what are you talking about? So she said, okay, can we do that?
Yeah.
She said, because that should be the basis. She said, you've done wig, weave, braids, relaxer, pixie, bold, locks, faux locks. You haven't just had your natural hair. I was like, no. So she said, okay, do that first. Learn how to look after that. Then when you are doing the other styles, you've grown with a trichologist.
Okay.
So you're moving with the mind of a trichologist when you do the braids.
Right.
But your hair is strong enough to do it, and your skill is different to do it properly.
Okay.
And I was like, I see. It's like Jedi mind tricks with me. Because now, grow the afro, do it right, no colour. Then they gave me options, demi-permanent, semi-permanent. They explained how permanent The reason I cut my hair off is because I did 2 permanent dyes in 2 months. The way that colour goes into hair, didn't know this, it opens your hair. It opens it to hop in.
Oh.
It's quite dramatic the way, and then it expands and like changes the bonds in there to then make the colour. So my hair's already very high porosity, it gets very dry very quickly.
Yeah.
So that gap that makes it dry, they've made it wider. And I did that twice, that's all it took, and then a little bleach, and then my hair was split from the middle. And a 5-minute bleach and 2 box dyes, you would never think is like crazy.
Not great.
Right. So it's like, I'm now realizing, and I want to put this out there to a lot more people, whether they're in broadcast, whether they're in film, that there are ways that we can balance health and style, but the problem is unlearning everything that we've been taught is really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. And I think having to tell someone who generation after generation after generation has been told that this is law, to then be like, actually, no, all of that's wrong. It's like they get people that are very defensive, but if you're open to it, that's the key thing.
Yeah.
And I think that journey, if you went on it with them, would be so fantastic, because I don't know how it will work out for you, Scarlette. I don't know what they're going to tell you.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm a bit scared.
I don't know.
I'm here.
There must be a way for you to experiment with different styles and but I'll be watching, because I don't know.
No pressure. Thanks, babe.
I'm just so intrigued, because I want to see the world through a trichologist's eyes. I want to know, are there certain styles that are just a complete no-no?
Braids, probably.
They said to an extent you can, but it's like the weight of them. So it's the integrity of your hair, the strength of your hair versus the weight of the braids.
Right.
Like I have very thick, very strong hair, so I can probably take a lot of weight, but it's like, can everybody? Probably not.
I think my hair back in the day probably could, but I feel like the way my hair is at the moment, I have about 6 different textures in my hair right now from all the different things I've done to it. It's just not good. So I need to just go for it. I need to just cut my hair off like you. Start again, speak to the ladies, and...
Because then, realistically, what you're saying is true. If you did that, start from scratch, we both end up with big, thick, healthy afros, right? Then it means if we do braids with the guidance, and we do it properly, and then because our hair has gone back to like full integrity, we probably won't suffer.
I hope not.
I doubt we will, because they wouldn't do anything that's going to make us lose our edges or give us traction alopecia, etc. And the traction alopecia I have is from my braids. I know it is. It's from my braids and the wigs with the combs.
Yeah, that's the same for me, without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%. So I think on one hand, watching your journey and having you flip between styles has made me feel very much like I can cut my hair and be okay. Honestly, the Bantu knots, I was like, listen to me. I'm okay. I'm okay, yeah. The lady's looking stunning on TV with Bantu knots. I'm absolutely fine. I can cut my hair and I'm okay. And that is a big deal for me, because now I can walk into certain rooms with broadcasters or TV production companies and I'll be sat there with my little afro like, yes. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But you should, like, your hair suits your face beautifully.
Thank you.
It really does. And you can totally carry it. So rock it, for sure, rock it.
I will, but it takes the ladies before me to be like, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, to then feel comfortable.
To whisper back to us and be like, you're good, don't worry.
Yeah.
We've got this. So thank you. And also thank you for being open to trichology, because I just think it's it feels new, it feels very new to me. It feels very new and scary.
And I don't know why we've not spoken about it much before, and I don't know why we don't do anything with our hair in the sense of actually going to trichologists. If we are ill, we go to a doctor, right? But we never really think about our hair.
No, we don't. So this is why it's a new journey. But if there's like certain people like me and you that's like, we'll do it first. Yeah. How about that? Okay, everyone at home, you're welcome. Yeah. We'll do it first.
Definitely do it.
And then don't get upset, okay? When we look fabulous. I don't want to hear it.
At least you can see it work.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be the guinea pigs for it. And then moving forward in terms of like seeing you on the TV, one thing I will tell everybody is leave the lady alone. If she wants to wear her wig, leave her alone. Because it is a style that can work. I did speak to the trichologist and they did say that you can wear a wig as a protective style, but she said the glue, no. She said the combs, no. So it's just finding ways that we can navigate it. But at least I feel like, especially me, I feel a lot more comfortable in certain rooms like this.
Good.
As a result of you. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you do. And I also want to touch on the anxiety that you said you have.
Yes.
When you worry about certain things.
Yes.
The hair obviously kind of being the first step of going forward. But for anybody, for you, for anyone else that's thinking about presenting, when I first started 8 years ago, my anxiety was through the roof.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I came from musical theatre, I was a singer dancer, and I acted like a presenter because I didn't know what a presenter was supposed to be like. But you learn as you go, and the more you become comfortable in yourself and your hair and your skin, the more you can absolutely be you, and the more that your anxiety will just diminish.
Yeah.
And also in live television and in pre-recorded television, once you've done it, it's gone. Live especially, it is out there. So there's no point worrying about it because it's gone. And in like the next 10 seconds, you're talking about something else or some other story is a hot story. So no one's ever going to remember that. Okay. So always just try and think moving forward that actually you've got this, whatever, and you're brilliant at what you do. And you don't have to worry about, have I said that right? Did I do that right? Did I do it wrong? Because even still now, 8 years on, I'll think, oh, why did I say that? Because all of a sudden there's a newspaper article about it. It's not actually what I said, but you took two little bits and you made this big headline.
Big headline,
to get
thank
everybody
you
to
so
read
much.
it. And then when you read down, you realise that that's actually what I did say.
Yeah.
But you will learn to just, it's out there, you move on, you keep moving forward.
Can't wait. I can't bloody wait. Until then, I might have to just like send you a voice note, Scarlette.
Whenever. Voice note me, whenever. Voice note me, Ben, get off your chest, it's fine. We've all been there. Even now, I've got a group of presenter friends and we'll call each other and be like, oh my God, this happened, oh my God, that happened. And the minute you vented, you realise it's fine,
It's actually
done.
not that
Let
deep.
it go. It's not that deep. We've not been cancelled, we're still here.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Thank you so much for today. I've appreciated it.
I've loved it.
I've loved
really
it.
Good. I can't wait to get to the trichologist.
Yes, fantastic. And guys, I know it sounds like we're like heavy pushing on the trichology thing, but no, for real. The fact that I'm sat here with traction alopecia is insane to me. So if you can take a minute, go and book an appointment, because I think a lot of people would be very surprised about the diagnosis that they would get. And the fact that I've done it and they told me that if I'd have waited, they put the fear of God in me. I was like, oh my God. Because she said that what will happen is eventually, where the follicles are being tested, your body thinks it's doing you a solid by then saying, well, she obviously doesn't need this follicle because she keeps ripping it. Then it heals over to help you out because it keeps getting ripped out. So it's like, she doesn't want us. How sad.
Like, we really
no, we do. Stay.
We want all of you and your brothers and your sisters and your cousins.
We want everyone, keep the squad there. We want all of you. So please just take a minute and go and get yourself checked out, all right? Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And until next time, guys, please keep an eye on your scalps. Okay. See you later. Bye.
Bye.